hopefully his place works. We'll see you later, Kai. Or you can come follow along. It's fine. Arthur Dent. Yay, it works. I'm so happy all of these places are working so well. This one is called The Cabin. And again, while it's kind of in nature stuff, again, I think he's taken it, or they have taken a different approach to it. And I just think it's, well, you're welcome to tag along, Kai. I don't mind one bit. In fact, sometimes Samson will come along and he'll point out things that I didn't even notice. Again, you can see that they've used the massive umbrella tree to give a little texture to their landscaping here. And again, they're one of those that adds these little details like these little cattails and clumps of grass to kind of change it up a little bit to make it their own. I'm not sure if there's actually anything up here on this tree, but okay, he can make it up the ladder. I can't make it up. Oh, it's so bad. You guys are making it look so easy, and I'm like having trouble. Woo! I made it. Whee! Do I get a medal now? So nothing up here other than the tree itself, but still, it's a cool view. Is really the showcase piece is the house itself. I took damage. Owie. Yeah, I probably should run, but I try to stay on walk when I'm going through these homes so I don't go too fast because I tend to move my camera around all nutsy and I don't want to make anybody sick or sicker. I'm sure looking at my ugly mug does not help, but anyway. Again, there's not much going on the landscape. They've taken the time to add decoration and stuff, of course, but the real prize is the house itself. Now, I know there's an entrance here, but we're going to avoid that one when we go into the front. Or I am. You guys are free to go wherever you want. But you can see they basically just made it from scratch. Oops, don't want to go that way. There's a little ski hut. Something might come out and grab you. And you can see that there's a hint of like a tunnel bit down below, and we'll get to that in a little bit. I don't think there's anything down there. The last time I checked, I think it was empty, but we'll go and visit it anyway later. But yeah, here's a pretty good shot of the house itself, and I love the care they took in planning out how the window shapes are. It's not just the usual straight up and down squares. They've actually angled it in places to accommodate not just the roof, but just to dress it up a little different. It's a pretty nice little thing. Now, I think this creepy pot here looks like a bubbling pot of goo. It's supposed to be the little sauna jacuzzi thing out here, but for Oren, that's a little big. We'd be drowning if we were actually in there. It's just really big. Looks a little messy being yellow and goopy, but you know, for people that like that, that's pretty cool. Inside, again, we have lots of windows, which I love. I don't like feeling boxed in completely. I say that, and mine really didn't have a lot of windows on it, but anyway. Here's a dining table. Notice it's not too decorated as far as there's no plates or anything. A lot of people like to go through the whole trouble of decorating, but I imagine just because of how this house is built out of 2x4s, that probably like Kai, they ran out of decor count and had to forfeit being able to decorate as much as they probably would have loved to, because I know when I built my house from scratch, I had also considered using 2x4s, and it really would have just ate up the count. It was just unreal when I started figuring it out, especially for the size that I was going to use. It was just going to be an enormous amount of wood, and I imagine that's the same case here, because I mean, if you look, the walls are all 2x4s, and that's a lot of pieces to get all that squared away. But they did, I mean, you recognize that as a dining area, so it does its job, at least on that part. Here we have a little reading hall, and of course the entrance to the outdoors from the back, from there. And then I like the little addition of this window here. It's just a little sneak peek at the outside. Basically, probably just removing one of the wood pieces and inserting some glass. Just a simple way of doing it, but effective. I imagine this was to be kind of like a bedroom feel. I'm not quite sure on that. Again, here's another example of a different way of doing the window. But again, with the 2x4s, you have to allow for the missing piece. So, to me, it's just a lot of pieces you have to use to make the walls. And then the other side of the house on the lower floor. I think this is one of those examples of they kind of built large and didn't really anticipate how quickly the decor count would be eaten up. And then we're left with kind of like, well, can't really add all of the goodies that I wanted to inside, but got no choice but to leave it as it is. So they had to take care as to which pieces they would add. I love these windows up here, the slanted ones. And they even got, you know, the lining of the boards, the floors as the ceiling part. Nice comfortable seating area up here. And the staircase is nice. It looks kind of grand with the double on each end. And then you actually have two rooms at the back here. A smaller bedroom, and then a little office desks. Again, it's not as decorated as they probably would like. But it, you know, that's part of the issue. Part of the thing we've been really asking for is some way to upgrade the count that we can use, the count that we have available. For me, I would definitely appreciate some increase in storage, even if we didn't get an increase in place decor. Okay, so now we'll go upstairs. I think this is the only way to it, off this back porch here. And this reminds me like the brother that has the garage house or something. He's very sloppy and everything, but this looks like, I guess it's supposed to be like some, I don't know, vagabonds or just some traveling guests that don't stay for very long. They kind of come up here and stay. And then you got another view. More of these little windows here to finish off where the roof is. Now, you can't really see it from in here because of the way the windows work. but I'll head outside and show you the roof. Again, it's just the Exile floors, and then if you look, there's all those 2x4s. That really eats up that count there, because you know they not only used them for the walls, but also for the railing on the stairs and everything. But if you look, the roof is topped with grass, and then there's WildStars up top eating the grass. And then they used the green thorny logs for the trim and the peak. I thought that was a fun way of doing it. Kind of has that natural I can get up there. Yeah, I made it. Grass is pretty high, but you know, it's one way to approach it if you want a thatched roof. They could have opted to use maybe the tiki roof instead, but then the problem with the tiki roof is, of course, the bar that would have been down the very center, so that would have kind of probably messed up their little idea of the way they set up the windows. But I've seen people use them for thatched roofs and still manage to make it yes, Yaws, it has. It used to be 300 placed decor limit. It's now 1,000, but from my own experience, 1,000 still is not quite enough. At least not for some of us that get pretty elaborate with our builds. So this is that tunnel that we could see that was underneath the house, and if I remember right, it leads to the bunker house, but the bunker house, last I checked, is empty. But I will go ahead and, yep, it's empty. So I don't know if Arthur had plans of putting anything extra in. His home's been on the list for several months now, so I figured if he was going to add something, he would have done so by now. So either he's not playing anymore, or just doesn't have any idea what he might want to put in it. But that is Arthur's house, Arthur Bent. He's got some other homes. So you probably recognize them. I think there's Arthur Dent, Arthur Cent. So if you want to check out some of those others, they're there. I don't have plans to tour the other ones of his just yet. I think one of them's still kind of a work in progress, and the other one, I know he changed it at one point. I think it used to be a town, and then he changed it to a spaceport. But so that's Arthur's place. So that's 4. Usually I kind of stop around 4. So I think that will be good for today. I do want to say a special thanks to Kai and, of course, Samson for joining me in game. It's always fun to have people tag along. Because often they point out things that I miss, or it's just good to see their comments and their reaction, especially if they haven't visited the place before. But also, I want to give a reminder, there's an actual special event going on this evening. Just trying to find the post here with the information. Should have had this ready, but I didn't. Yeah, it's a PvP event. I know not everybody's into PvP, but it's a Carbine kind of hosted event. It's for this evening, which is the 15th of July, at 7 to 8 p.m. UTC time. So for me, that would be 9 to 10. In Belgium, it's a few hours difference. But what it is there's going to be a small team of Carbine devs that are going to do some PvP in Walatiki Temple. And it says that it's a level 50 event only for fun. They will be doing practice battlegrounds, so it doesn't alter any personal ratings or whatever. But if you'd like to participate in that, you know, this is a good opportunity. Even if you don't PvP, it would still be something that you might want to, try out for the first time if you've never been in. But that'll be this evening. Again, that's at 7 to 8 UTC time, which if you're in my neck of the woods, that would be 9 to 10 in the evening. Now, I'm not for sure if I'm going to be around for it. If I am, there's a good chance I may go ahead and stream while I'm in it, just for the fun of it. Maybe we'll actually catch some devs in some of the battlegrounds, but since I'm not sure about that, I'm not going to make any promises because I don't want to get people's hopes up. Not that very many people watch, but I just don't know yet what our plans are for this evening. But again, if you're interested in maybe catching sight of some of the devs that are going to be around, that would be a good opportunity. A lot of people are a little disappointed that it's not a similar event that NA had. NA had some kind of I think it was where they had a big boss of a WildStar located in some place on Entity, and everybody got there and took it down. But there were some issues with people phasing in and out. There was different offshoots of the same area, and so some people could see the boss and some people couldn't, and there was a big hoo-ha about it. So I think they decided to do something different for EU. And again, while I say that it's not for everybody, because not everybody enjoys PvP, I'm just happy that they're willing to do something, even if it's not suitable for everybody or at the right times or whatever. But just wanted to throw that out there for anyone that might be interested and happens to see this and thinks they might want to join in. So again, that's on Jabbit Realm at 7 to 8 p.m. UTC time. You can figure it out what time that is in your part of the woods. And that will be the Wali-Tiki Temple Practice Battlegrounds. I hope I got that right. You can check the forums, the official forums, for information. I think it's also on the game loader, that there's a link to it. So it's on their news site as well if you want to get specific information about what that all is about. But I thought I would mention it just to throw that out there in case you want to get in. Again, I may get to stream it. Just depends on what our plans are for this evening. I usually don't make any kind of solid plans. It's one of the reasons why I tend to stream at odd hours, because I never know what I'm going to be doing for the day. But since Wednesday afternoon is my housing day, then I kind of clear my schedule purposely for that one. But I don't want to do that every day. So anyway. So that was Exile homes for this week. We visited 4 really awesome homes. I hope you enjoyed the tours. Granted, I may have missed a few things here and there, and of course I might have misnamed some of the items that I thought were used, but I do try to kind of help out as far as identifying some pieces, so that if somebody sees something they think is really nifty and they want to add to their own home, then they can also maybe work in some of those pieces. Next week will be Dominion tours. I haven't made a list yet. I plan to do that probably this weekend, because tomorrow, as I mentioned on my last stream, I will be out of town, so there will be no stream tomorrow at all. But Friday we'll come back and do some more goofy stuff in the house. Maybe I'll work a little bit more on some CBDC stuff, but probably not. I'll probably find something else to do. But yeah, Dominion tours will be next week. I'll try and find 2 or 3, maybe 4 homes. Dominion's a little tougher because I think the portion of people that play in the game on either faction is a little lopsided in favor of Exile. I just get that feeling because I found it tougher to find new homes to add to my list on Dominion side. I don't know if it's maybe the players that play Dominion just don't enjoy housing as much, or but I think it's more to do with hey, old man. I think it's just due to more with the imbalance in the player community being a little bit more on the Exile side. That's just my impression. I don't know if that's actually the case, but so it's a little tougher to find new homes that I feel like I want to tour, but I will do my best to find at least a few that will be that we can tour next week. Again, I welcome suggestions if you or a friend or someone you know happens to have a house, it's public, and it fits a lot of the criteria of like a lot of custom building or a very unique theme, then, you know, feel free to suggest visiting their home. The way I find the homes, I just spend a lot of time going through the random visitor tool. I just go from house to house to house. Generally speaking, 90% of the homes I visit really aren't worth the visit. Either they're empty or they have just a bunch of stuff thrown out on the I have heard of Doom Kitty, yes, from the forums. There's a lot of housing fanatics, and I'm pretty sure Doom is one of them. But again, if you guys have any suggestions, questions, comments, I'm all ears. Literally, my character is pretty much all ears because I've got some big ones. But I can't guarantee that I'll tour your home or tour your friend's home, but I will definitely take a look, and if I think it's something other people would enjoy looking at, then I will definitely add it to my list. I'm still waiting for Samson to say that he's done with his house so that I can tour his place. But in the meantime, I will do my best to find some interesting homes to tour again in the future. I do this every week, so if you're someone that's just joining us and just finding out about it, you can see my previous broadcasts. I have them both in the highlights section on my Twitch channel. I also have them archived on the YouTube channel. So there's several ways you can catch all my past broadcasts. But we do about 3 or 4 homes a week. And in the beginning, it was just Exiles because I didn't have access to the Dominion side. But I eventually got my little Chua up to 14. So I've been alternating it each week. Well, is that on Entity though, old man? Because I don't have access to Entity. Yeah. Like I said, I'm pretty sure the reason that this particular home is fairly empty is because they probably ran out of space. Because you can only have a certain amount laid out, and with the 2x4s, you don't think that that would add up, but it does. Because even the home that I had on my alt, it just flew by as far as decor count. Because I mean, they didn't just use it for the walls; they've used it on the railings and in other places, and it can add up pretty quick. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, that's why I know Doom Kitty from the forums, but I don't know them in game because we're on different servers. But yeah, it was nice to see because I've been doing the Jabbit side with the list of both Dominion and Exile for a while now, and it was nice to see Entity finally get their list. So it's nice that people are, you know, taking interest into showing off other people's homes. That not everybody is keen on making videos or posting screenshots, because a lot of people feel like it's just, you know, being a lot of bragging, and who wants to, you know, brag on themselves. Some do like to brag on themselves, but others, you know, they put their plot to, you know, to public, but they don't actually go, look at me, look at me. And I'm wanting to get the word out that, hey, this person did an awesome job. Take a look. You know, you need to visit. And for those that can't visit, you know, this is another way of them getting to see some of that. I honestly don't know. I know Destiana or Destina, can't even pronounce this. Destiny something, Destinia, I think is the name. They sometimes do a few, but if I remember right, I want to say they do theirs in French or German, one of the two. I think it's French. And there may be others. I know, I'm trying to think, there's another one on Entity that does, I think they're called, their little deal is called Yardcore. I don't know if that's Doom's. Yeah, they still make videos, Destinia still makes some, but I think it's, I don't know if it's they stick more with their guildmates or what, but I think they typically do theirs in French. And also they don't do a lot of commentary. They tend to just set their videos to music. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's French. And there's nothing wrong with that. We have a lot of French players, so you know it's great that they have it in their own language. And I know Arkship does German housing stuff where they have housing videos, but I think theirs is more like how-to videos, like with the challenges and things like that. And I'm pretty sure they're in German. But for the videos that I do, I tend to, well, for one, I blab a lot. I talk about anything I'm looking at, I happen to mention. And I just try to, you know, I do a lot of guesswork as to what I feel like a particular building is supposed to be for and everything. You know, I know Yardcore one, yeah. I couldn't remember the name, but yeah, it's Chestnut that does the Yardcore one. I'm pretty sure Yardcore, they actually get together with the owner of the house and they do like an interview kind of thing. I have no idea how to set that up so that people can talk while I'm talking as well. So if I ever figure that out, maybe I'll do that too. But you know, that would have been handy with Kai. But even though Kai's there, you know, it's still mostly me just gibbering, rambling on and on. Yeah, I agree, Yas. That's one of the reasons why I started the stream, partly just to kind of get into it because my son's wanting to do the streaming as well, and I kind of wanted to figure out what he was getting himself into. But I wanted to do something different than just, you know, watching me shoot stuff and fail miserably at jumping puzzles and things like that. So I thought, well, I love housing, so that's what I'm going to talk about. So on Wednesdays, I do the house tours, and on every other day, it's just me goofing around on my own stuff. And of course, you know, you can see that in past videos and things like that. But yeah, I hope that these videos and things like that help get the word out. I figure we're going to have a lot of influx of players once free-to-play actually hits. I mean, we've had a bit of an influx already because of the promotions going on, but I expect it to be even more so. And so I'm hoping that as we get more players, even if they are freemium players, that they'll still, you know, want to get involved in housing, and maybe that'll hook them even more, and they'll actually subscribe and get all the goodies, especially if the cash shop has a lot of housing stuff. I imagine that's going to be a big draw for a lot of people, getting all those extra little bits. Hopefully they don't tie everything to the cash shop, because that would be a bummer for me, because while I do subscribe, it's not like I want to cash out money on top of money on top of money just to get all the nice stuff. But yeah, more addicts, that would be good. Yeah, it's kind of scary actually. because we've had a lot of people, in fact, my guild is currently closed for recruitment, but we've had a huge amount of people asking about getting in, and we're having to redirect them to other places, because I think a lot of guilds are starting to get a little concerned about the commitment that these people are going to be bringing to the game, if they're really just going to be coming in and then getting their feet wet and then leaving, or if they're in it for the long haul. So yeah, it's going to be nice to having the population bloom, as I think it will, but it's also going to be kind of nerve-wracking too, because it's just going to be a lot going on, and people are going to be, there's going to be an influx of people asking the same old questions. There's going to be people getting kind of upset because they're having to give the same old answers every 5 minutes. But I think once we get past that point, and things kind of settle down, I think it'll be good. So we'll just have to see. But whether the population stays or not, I think that will just be dependent on the game's performance. You know, we have had a lot of stability issues as far as like lag and having problems with like world bosses where you get to it and you can't do anything because you drop to like 1 FPS or something. And not everybody has those super uber computers, and even those that do have troubles. So I don't know, if they get the optimization worked out pretty good in advance of the free-to-play going, and you know, iron out some other issues, I think it'll be like a step in the right direction. But you know, it's out of our control. So domicile enthusiast, yeah, I like that. But anyway, that's my little show for today. I hope everyone enjoyed it. It's always great having the chat going pretty smoothly. It's usually not this active. I don't know what's going on, why people are suddenly popping up, but I appreciate it. Again, if you like the show and you want to catch me on live, the best way to do that is to follow my channel, and that will let you know when next I go on, because like I said, my hours are kind of iffy. I don't have a set schedule per se. Wednesday's my only actual scheduled broadcast, and that's at 1 p.m. CET time every Wednesday. Other days it's typically in the morning my time, but it can be in the afternoons, and I don't stream on the weekends because I don't know, I just haven't had the gumption to do that. I spend it doing other things. Oh my, well, I'm glad you made it back. And anyway, yeah, tomorrow no stream, gonna be out of town. Got some family business to take care of. We had a death in the family, so I'll be going to a funeral tomorrow. So not happy times, but just one of the things that you got to do. So no stream tomorrow. Friday I'll be back, probably in the morning, as I said. But again, I don't know what hour, because it just depends on how late I get up, what kind of things I do in the morning, and what I'm going to have planned. Well, thank you, old man. Anyway, and then we'll be back Monday for a new week of housing madness. Again, Dominion tours will be next Wednesday. If you have a Dominion character and you want to come along as you did on the Exile side, feel free to do that. My character on that side is Melancholy. The name is on the information on my Twitch channel, so that you get the spelling right. Because usually I'll try to say it and I spell it wrong myself, because I don't play that character very much. So anyway, you can contact me in-game, via Twitch, via YouTube. If you have questions, comments, suggestions, concerns, whatever it may be. My house, oh, well, you know, well, which one? Yeah, I guess I get it. You guys want to hop back to my place. Let's see. Um, I've already done a tour of it once. And of course I did live streaming of while I was building it. So if you want to know how I put it together, just look at some of my older videos. But my place is a combination of two themes. It's a golf course up top, a miniature golf course called Proto-Putt Park. And I'll just give a quick rundown. Got the little golf cart here and the exterior of the building. Yeah, I finished it. It's probably been about a month now. So yeah, you've been gone a while. In fact, I've already been starting to think of a new theme or new themes to play around with because I'm already kind of getting bored of it. Well, not bored of it, but I'm just getting the itch to do something new. I did work on a house on an alt for a while to kind of get my mind off of this one. But yeah, I'm already thinking probably, I don't know when, but eventually I'm going to change it up and start something new. But this is the food court. So you got all your little foods, pizza and things like that. Popcorn machine, vending for the drinks. Got the little eatery spots. The salad bar, it went okay. We've got the food court here. With like, I don't know, hot buns and cinnamon rolls and pizza and things like that. And then outdoors, okay. We've got the souvenir shop. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, you've been gone a while, and yeah, the itch to do something new is always there. In fact, if I had really been super energetic, I probably would have scratched this like the day after I finished it because I was already thinking of things that I might want to do differently. But I also know that people like to come and take a look at these things themselves. So I purposely leave it up for a couple months before I change it up. I've done that for the last few times. So yeah, this is just the general course. Nothing super fancy. I tried to add as much moving parts as I could to kind of give the illusion that there's some, golf hazards out here and things like, whichever hole you put it into, it determines whether you come out the right way or the wrong way, that kind of stuff. Then down below is the subway station. Let's see if I can hop over there. Again, this is just a quickie run through because I've done a tour itself. So we ride down the elevator, and then you got the diner and the subway station part. The secret entrance, that was the elevator. If you want to have a closer look, that's here. Got the exterior of the elevator, and then you just click it back to go back outside. And it's rebuilt up here. It's slightly different from the one upstairs, but that's because of the way it's set up. But yeah, we got the little diner here, different kinds of foods, pies, cookies, candies, sandwiches, different little signs. Got a little food tray here, a little cloche on it. And little kitchen area. Nothing super grand. I didn't want to get too elaborate with it because I do so many eatery places. It's kind of old after a while. Then you got the lockers for those coming through the train. the telephone booth, the ticket booth, the little office space. He's got his little filing cabinet in the back. The ATM machine looks a little crooked now. And then we got the train itself, the subway train. And the idea was that it was supposed to be like a portal where it comes in, and maybe you don't see the whole train, but it's there. We got the little luggage rack, luggage trolley or whatever. Go inside. There's the cockpit. And the luggage area. And of course it extends, and it's supposed to give the illusion that there's more to the train, you just don't see it. Then you got the employee area where they come and stay, and this is where they got like the generators down below, and he made a mess. And then on the other side is access to the control room. And this is where I wish I had seen Kai's place earlier, because I probably would have set it up a little different. But this is where they handle all the making sure the trains get in the right order and what's coming in where and blah, 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 blah. I see a lot of things I would probably do different now, but I don't want to go through the trouble of changing it up. I figure if I'm going to do anything, I'm just going to create it all and start over with something different, which I will eventually do. It's just a matter of when. So that's a quick tour. I'm sure I went through like 5 versions of this silly subway before I settled on this one. I'm sure someone else a little more mechanically inclined could come up with a better design. But that was my take on it. Kind of a goofy looking thing now. It's one of those things you come back and you look at something you made and you go, ew, that's just so ugly. Well, I appreciate the compliments. Turns your hatch into a wishing well. Well, that sounds interesting. But yeah, that's my mains home. I do have another build on my alt, celery, greenleaf. Well, no, that would be Turnip's place has that custom house. And then Celery's is the one I do for the CBC, which is a custom built decor challenge that I do for my guild every month. Yeah, I take lots of screenshots, both as I'm progressing through a build, and then I do lots of screenshots after. Mostly I rely on the videos though. I take a lot of video footage. And of course, like I said, I streamed every single bit that I built here from basically day 1 to when I was done. I did the same with the custom built home that I did on Turnip's plot. Because I feel like a lot of people, they'll come to someone's home and they'll like, I don't have any idea how you managed to mash those pieces together in such a way as to get that particular look. You know, like for even something as basic as cabinets and things. So I feel like giving kind of a behind the scenes look at how one approaches building. I mean, I know there's probably other builders that do it totally different than how I do it. A lot of them like to use calculations, and they write down numbers and coordinates and things like that. Most of the time I'm just kind of eyeballing it, you know. I'll just like, that looks okay, and just leave it, you know, all right. But I feel like letting people see how I'm putting it together, the thought processes behind it, will help others maybe tackle, you know, because I think a lot of people find some of the housing a little intimidating when they see other people's builds. They're thinking, wow, I can't do anything like that. And really, it's just a matter of practicing. working with the tools that you have at hand, getting used to how they work, the quirks that they have, if something doesn't work quite right. Which in fact, when I do start my next build, I will be using Katya's housing add-on, which is supposed to help alleviate a lot of the issues that we currently have, like the offset that you get when you copy paste floors. When you copy and paste a floor, it doesn't go exactly in the same place. It kind of offsets a little, either above or below. And her add-on fixes that automatically. Same way with the chairs. You have problems with your chairs not letting you sit the correct way. See how this one is backwards. Supposedly the fixing of the chairs should sort that. Of course, that doesn't quite work like it's supposed to. But anyway, I'm going to be testing out that add-on a little bit more, either before or as I'm working on the next plot build. So I'm hoping to give promotion to her add-on, because I've heard a lot of people rave about it. I just haven't had the time to really delve into it. I played around with it, I think it was yesterday, and I was like totally clueless as to what I was doing because I don't really understand the controls yet. So there's a bit of a learning curve, but once I can figure it out, then I can better explain it to somebody else that might be watching and can better help promote it and get more people to use it, and that will give her additional feedback as to what she could do extra in her add-on to improve it even more. So yeah, Samson, it's Jabbit for sure. There's no question. But yeah, Mega Service came, I don't know, several months ago. It was a bit of a kind of a bump for some. I don't think everybody was happy with that, but I think it's worked out for the best. I think it's simplified a lot of things than having all these different server names having to worry about them. Yeah, I think Entity is the PvE version, and is it Warhound? That's the PvP, I think, for NA. And I think for Jabbit, it's for EU, it's Jabbit is the PvE, and I think it's Lumini is the PvP. Yeah, and that was part of the reason why I started with the listing, because I have a lot of guildmates that they're not quite as obsessive of housing as I am, but they do enjoy it. But they often complained about the public listings. You go to it, and like 95% of the time, you come up with blank homes or homes that look like they're having a garage sale because you just got everything out. And I have a lot of free time on my hands, so I spend a lot of time just perusing the public homes. And I started making a list for myself in the beginning. I thought, well, my guildmates probably like looking at this list, so I started sharing it with them. And then as it grew, I thought, well, probably more people than just my guildmates would like to see it. And so I posted it on the official forums, and it's just kind of gone from there. But I think it helps. I don't catch them all. There's a lot of homes that I probably miss. And of course, it doesn't include private ones, obviously, because I want to keep it where, if I list them, then anybody can visit them. So they do have to be public. And I do have to go through the list every now and then and weed out the ones that have gone private since I listed them, or I have to categorize some that have changed their theme since the first time I listed them. That's a little extra work for me, but I really don't mind. If it helps other people get past the frustrations of the public listings, In some respects, I think some of the ideas that folks have had about maybe um, doing some kind of a rating system to give like homes that are really worth a visit a higher rating. But I think that still wouldn't work 100% because you're going to have those that have a really cruddy house that maybe have a lot of friends that will upvote their house, even though it's really not worth looking at. And so you'll still run into some yucky homes. But anyway, I try to lessen the pain of public visiting by providing a quick reference list to some of the homes I have found interesting. Um, Again, not all of them are finished. There are some that are constantly a work in progress. A lot of them change pretty regularly, so sometimes you'll come across it and it'll be on the list, but they got nothing on their plot, but you maybe just caught them in mid switch, Um, and then others have had the same plot for like the entire year. They've built it and they've left it alone because they're happy with how it looks. Um, but that doesn't make them any less, because there's even some that I think they were built when we still had the 300 decor limit. They haven't even upgraded since then, but it's still pretty cool to look at how they managed to work with it even with those limits. So, I keep a lot of homes on the list that, some think, well, they shouldn't be on there, but mainly I just look for homes that have interesting use of decor. A lot of custom builds, whether it be just for furniture or for the whole house, or they really have an interesting theme, something you don't see a lot of. Because we do have a lot of bars and uh, things like that. And so when you have like 100 bars, you kind of have to look for something that's a little out of the ordinary. So the more custom decor they have, the better. I don't have any idea about Warhound. I'm not sure. I'm sure there are PvPers that probably do decorate their home, but it might be fewer in comparison to the PvE players. Simply because I think the PvE populations are bigger, whether you're on Jabbit or Entity. But what are you guys doing? Are you just waiting for some food? Samson's waiting for some lunch. Well, I've heard talk that some of the PvPers there's still some activity, but it's just not as big as a lot of people would hope for. Because I think a lot of the queuing is pretty slow or nil. But there's been some, diehard PvPers that have just pretty much gone against switching over to PvE, even though there was a pretty big migration, I think, at one point. But yeah, there's been talk of upcoming PvP changes that might encourage another exodus. Um, if and when that will happen, I don't know. So yeah, if you're on Warhound, it might be to your benefit. If you're really looking for some homes to tour at least, it might be to your benefit to go ahead and make use of the free transfer. I think that's still available uh, to move over to Entity. Yeah, that's probably the case. If you were on a PvP realm before the mega server hit, you will be on the PvP mega server Warhound. So yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just like you'll have to, if you've been gone that long, you probably have to even think up your name because we went from one name to two. I have a first and last now. But yeah, the PvP populations I think are small on both EU and NA. It's probably why Carbine's doing their PvP event on Jabbit since there's not a lot of people on Lumini, which is, I think, says it all, really, as far as population goes. They already are aware that there's not enough people over there to have an event worth anything, which is a shame. You know, I don't PvP myself, but I sympathize with those that do. They want their content just as much as the rest of us do. So, but yeah, do you guys have any more questions? I hate to just drop off when there's like conversation going. But anyway, again, I appreciate you guys dropping in and chatting up. It's always fun to have some interaction with an audience rather than feeling like I'm talking to myself, which I do 90% of the time. Even when I'm not streaming, I talk to myself. Because my husband will come home and he'll hear me yapping up here and he'll think I'm on the phone. And then he'll come in and he goes, "Who was you talking to?" I said, "Me." So I do that anyway, but at least now I have an excuse that I'm going to be talking to somebody else. But yeah, so today was a fun day. We saw some nice nifty homes, not including my own. I don't really include my own. My stuff's kind of eh. But anyway, tomorrow, again, reminder, I won't be here. I'll be out of town, so there will not be a stream tomorrow. Friday, I will be back, though, for probably a short while. And then, of course, we'll be back again next week. Just another reminder to this evening, 7 to 8 p.m. UTC time, there will be a EU-only event on Jabbit Realm. The Carbine devs, or a number of them, I don't know how many, will be doing some PvP. I think it's Walatiki Temple practice battlegrounds. They will be engaging in those for about an hour this evening. So if you are interested in trying to catch Carbine dev in game, or just want to see what PvP is all about, now's your opportunity to get involved in that and maybe get on camera. If I happen to be around this evening and can figure out how to get into the battleground, I don't even know how to queue for that kind of stuff. I'll have to ask a guildmate for that. But if I can get in there and I happen to be around, then I'll be sure and probably stream a little bit this evening, which will be a first because I normally don't do that in the evenings because usually that's family time. But I will make an exception since this is kind of an unusual event. But if I don't and you do decide to get in, I hope you have fun. Again, next week will be Dominion tours. So you have a week to level up your Dominion if you want to join in game for those, as you did with the Exile side. I'm talking to you, Samson. Got to get yourself a little chua and come join me. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a great time. Good luck with your own projects. Even if you're on Entity, I hope you share what you're doing, be it videos of your own, screenshots, or just talking about it in the forums. Because I love seeing that stuff. You know, this is one way for Entity to see some of the stuff on Jabbit's side, and it's nice to have Entity players do the same, to reciprocate. So we can kind of stare and drool at your homes and wish we were over there. But until then, I bid you all a good day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.